What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting head-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. I am your host. You know the name, and you know why I'm here. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say that I actually got in touch. Well, not got in touch, but one of Dale Stelling's siblings, his grandson, as a matter of fact. Son of his son. Of course, I know you already know what that means. But anyway, his son just happened to be watching my channel and watching one of the videos with his grandfather's name on it. And he sent me a comment saying, "That's my grandpa." I was like, "Oh, really? Well, I would love," and I told him I would love to get a chance to, get your side of the story about what happened to your grandfather. And he broke it down about where he was and everything, but then I found out he was 13. I didn't want to have to put him through that. I won't even mention his name, but I told him that I gave him I sent a comment with my number on it, and I told him, well, if your father wants to talk to me about what happened to his father, I'd be greatly appreciated, and that's if he wants to. There's no pressure, of course. It's like it's only been 3 years since his father, went missing, in the national park. So if he doesn't get in touch with me, that's fine, because I know, like I said, it's only been 3 years. He probably doesn't like to talk about it much, especially after what happened and how the Park Service treated him and his mother and pretty much the entire family. So that's completely understandable. Now, in light of that, we all know that hundreds of people disappear in national parks, national forests, rural and urban areas every single year. Hundreds of people, men, women, and children. One that gets me the most out of all are the children, and how they just seem to vanish. And what I talked about the other day correlates with, like I said, a lot of the stories in Dale Politis' books. Now, whether people will believe that that's what it is that's causing this to happen, that's on them to believe or not to believe. So I didn't want to put any person in that category just yet, because, like I said, there has been no known evidence to state these things. The fact is, though, when you look at the evidence surrounding the person's death or their disappearance, it kind of leads into that direction, even if you don't want to. That's the thing about this. That's why I say, when you come to my channel, please have an open mind. Even if you don't, it doesn't matter. Because I respect any person's idea of what's happening, whether it was logical or illogical. That's what I'm here for. Because one thing I want to make sure I make perfectly clear, which I know a lot of my fans do, but to the ones that don't and the ones that dislike my videos, I'm only here for the truth. I'm here to be honest with whatever I say. I don't want to say anything that is wrong, even though I may have in the past, but I did correct that each time. And I would respect and expect all of my viewers to come at me and let me know that what I said was wrong. And if they have to correct me, that's fine too. Now, I'm not the type of person that would get upset about something like that, because I'm the one that's telling the story. But I've learned since I've been doing my channel that a lot of the information you get on the internet is not entirely accurate. So it will be best to talk to the family members if they are willing to talk to a person that they don't even know or never heard of, and just happen to have a YouTube channel. They may say yes, they may say no, but I would prefer to get the information from them, and it's a great honor to even get a chance to speak to them, just like with Catherine Van Alst, and then getting a comment from Dale Stelling's grandson, which is another big happy smiley face for me, but like I said, I am here to promote the truth. No matter how weird, no matter how strange or mysterious the truth may be. And my truth is basically straight up theory, because there is no evidence of a truth like that. Okay, and I say that because that's what most people look for when they want to get the truth or find out about the truth. They want to have evidence. They want to have facts and all this kind of stuff. At the end of it's like I've been telling you guys before. At the end of the day, the facts, the evidence, all that stuff doesn't really matter. The facts, yes, because the facts lead you in these directions, whether it be logical or illogical or factual or fiction. The evidence that surrounds the death of the person, the evidence that that surrounds the characteristics, all of this stuff. If you see all of this, it's going to take your mind into a direction that you may not want to travel on, because it will lead you to something even more weirder than just your typical serial killer or pedophile or whoever else. If all of that gets knocked to the wayside, that means they don't have anything to do with any of these deaths. They have something to do with something else, dealing with a killing that is done with a weapon. Okay, these killings, they're not done with weapons. And if it is a weapon, it's a weapon that we don't understand because it leaves no markings. So my take on that is to get away from what you look at as, reality or logic. Okay, it's like I was telling a friend of mine the other day. You have to get rid of all doubt and get rid of all skepticism in order for you to believe the words that are coming out of my mouth or anyone else that may talk about the same topic with these weird theoretical facts that surround the deaths. Like I said before, if you find a body on the ground and it has no markings on the body, no stab wounds, no strangulation marks, no bullet holes in the body, and the body is clean, like it just stepped out of the shower. The body has its socks on and shoes, but hardly no clothes on. Okay, and then the body is bone dry in a wet area, which also makes no sense. The body may be facing down in the water, or facing up on land, or even facing down, or turned over and face down on the ground, whatever the case may be, because 90% of all people that are found dead in these scenarios are always face down, mostly the men, and the women are always face up. Now, every once in a while, you find a body of a man that's floating in the river face down. Face up. So I've never even heard of that before until I started listening to David Paulides. Because when you're dealing with news from the media, they don't divulge all the information because the death of the person is still under investigation. So, sorry guys, I'm getting a text. Okay, let me just gonna say no off day. But anyway, like I said before, when you're dealing with cases like this, you have to get away from logic. You have to get away from skepticism, doubt, fear, disbelief. All of that stuff has to be wiped out, washed away. Because if you are constantly doubting what you already see with your own eyes, as far as the facts that you may read about, or if you're there and you still don't believe it, even if you do see it, or you just don't catch on to the strange facts in the death of a person. Okay, if you see this, the evidence is right there. Whatever killed him is showing you what it can do, but it's not going to show you who it is or what it is, because what I told you guys the other night about what could be validated as the truth about these people that disappear, I'm gonna tell you right now, I believe every single bit of it, because things don't happen this way when you're dealing with a serial killer. Things don't happen this way when you're dealing with a mass murderer or a pedophile, a kidnapper. None of these are characteristics of these criminals that live here on this planet, or on this in this dimension, or on this parallel Earth, depending on if this is Earth Prime or not. I don't know, but still, if you are looking at this stuff from 1,000 feet up, you're gonna see stuff that you may not be ready for or prepared for. Okay, dealing with these type of killings in the type of field that these people work in. If let's just say you're a cop, or you're a private investigator, or you may be one of the coroners from the forensic office. Okay, you guys are gonna see all this stuff, and when you see it, you're not gonna believe it, even though it's right there in front of you. But when you get into your lab and you start examining the body, cutting pieces of skin off, testing it and everything, trying to find ligature marks, or trying to find strangulation marks, like from your hands or even from a rope, you are going to see something that you are not going to be able to explain. You're going to see something that will freak you out. You're going to see something that is going to scare you to the point where you're going to be like, okay, this is not happening. How is this possible? That can't happen. But it's happening. It's right there. It's telling you that it happened. Even if you see it, your mind is going to be so far gone, you're going to be like, I cannot believe it. This is virtually humanly impossible. Yeah, there you go, right there. By saying those words, humanly impossible. That means a human could never do that. But what could? Something that isn't human. Okay? It could be the reptilian aliens I talked about. It could be the Greys. It could be some sort of energy drinking entity from another dimension. Or it could just be, like I said, the reptilians, because they literally feed off of energy to sustain themselves, to boost their energy, I would imagine. And they also eat the bodies whole, and while they're still alive. So they're probably screaming unless they do something to subdue the person that they are getting ready to eat. Look at what happened with Henry McCabe. Okay, you can hear him moaning and groaning in pain. Like, it's obviously whatever killed him did not kill him in a way that we could understand. Okay, he wasn't stabbed. He wasn't stomped on. He wasn't. He didn't have his neck broken. He was just dead. But there was nothing there to indicate how he died. So what is the answer? What do you think the answer is? That means something was able to drain all of his. That's the only way. That's the only thing left that I could think of. You gotta get around what you think should have happened, but didn't. So then you start thinking about, it's almost like something zapped his energy or stole his soul. That's the next thing that will come out of my head. If I see that a person that died wasn't killed under the in the way that a serial killer or anybody would do, by their own hands, by using a weapon or using their own hands to choke someone to death. So that means, okay, something had to have drained his energy. Or, you see, this is when you start talking Star Trek shit, or supernatural stuff, okay? You start saying stuff like, oh, maybe his soul was taken out of his body before he was able to actually die, in a natural way, like a heart attack or being murdered. Because after you're killed or you die, in human terms, your spirit leaves your body. Your soul leaves your body, all that, and you're just a lifeless corpse, and then you start to decay, just like all other bodies, right? You don't find that in these cases. So, what does that tell you? It tells you that something unnatural and supernatural and unexplainable killed that man, that child, that woman, that old guy, that elderly person. We gotta use our mind. We gotta use our minds. We gotta think about this stuff. We gotta open them up. We gotta open up our brains, open up our mind to receive information about stuff that we would look at as straight up crazy. That's what I do. That's why I have this channel. That's my job. That's what I don't get paid for it. I'm doing it because I want you guys to understand these things. I want you guys to see what I see. I want you guys to understand that there is something out there other than a serial killer that's doing this. That's my job. That's what Insane Disappearances is here for. And I am glad that you guys are here to ride this train with me. Okay, someone commented me today about it brings us together. Okay, he's a new subscriber, and he's right. If I can bring us all together, I don't care where you coming from, the UK or okay. I want to say this before I continue. I want to give a big shout out to all the people in the UK that is watching my channel, and I want to say I am, really upset about what's been going on over there with you guys, and I really do hope you guys are okay. So keep the fight up, stay alive, and God bless you. Okay, back to the lecture at hand here. When you start to think about this, when you start to think, okay, this is what happened. Obviously, if it wasn't a serial killer, stab wounds, a gunshot, none of that stuff that we would normally say, if it was done in a human-like manner, we start to say, oh, that would. The only thing I can think of is his energy was drained out of his body, or someone just took his soul, ripped his soul right out of his body. But how though? That's the question. How could something like that happen? You still start saying that's impossible. That's humanly impossible. See, you said it again. When these words come out of your mouth, sometimes you probably don't even understand what you're actually saying or realize what you're saying, but you just figured it out. I mean, the first part anyway. The first part that leads you into that area, dealing with those type of killings. Okay, you start to say that's humanly impossible. So that means it wasn't a human, right? Okay, but what though? What kind of creature or being could have done that if they weren't human? Okay, you got chupacabra, which sucks out the blood out of your body. You got Bigfoot that eats animals, so therefore maybe he eats humans too. We don't know that. We haven't seen a male or female carcass or bones in the area where these Bigfoot would be. So obviously they don't. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I've heard of them finding like animal bones, like deer bones on the ground in the areas where these Bigfoot actually sleep or live, but they never find any human remains. Never. So that means if you find human remains in that area where they actually reside, that means they eat humans. But if you don't find it, that means they don't. So let's get that out of the way as well. Even though they did see Dennis Martin or something being carried on the shoulder of a hairy-looking being that was walking straight up on his hind legs. Okay, so I'm just saying, when you see stuff like that or hear stuff like that, that means it's something other than a human. Okay, now I ain't talking about a human that lives off the grid and lets his hair grow out like freaking Captain Caveman, but still, it's not that. It's not that. Okay, so let's get away from that. You still got reptilians. You have the Greys. You have what did I call that? Transdimensional travelers or dimensional travelers. Travelers. Okay. Transdimensional travelers. Okay, but these transdimensional travelers could be beings that have elevated beyond human. Okay, they probably weren't even human. They're probably just I've heard that these Greys with the big almond-shaped, bulgy black eyes, which I think that the black part is actually a covering, so that their eyes won't get affected by the radiation as they fly through space or whatever the case may be, or maybe their eyes are sensitive to sunlight, and depending on what kind of sunlight or what sun they are being illuminated by, maybe they can't stand our sun, so they have to wear those dark coverings on their eyes so their eyes won't melt or bake. I don't know, but still, like I said, it could be either one of those. It could be, like I said, a reptilian. Okay, it could be an alien. It could be a transdimensional being or alien. You don't know. We don't know. And just because we don't know or don't know the facts, if we come up with a theory about it, then we are halfway there. It's just a matter of you being able to realize that that's what happened, and realize that, okay, or if you get a chance to see what you see. Things happen in different ways. Let's just say you have a chance to write a book about something and you start getting into trying to find out things with the government. You get picked out of all the people on the planet to be able to see all the things that they see but they don't want us to see. Like that guy Derek Tyler. He served 30 years in the military, and got a chance to see so many things that we already think isn't real. Okay, like aliens, UFOs, all kinds of different species of aliens, all kinds of ships that they travel in, all the secrets that we know about because of the internet, but hasn't been confirmed unless it was confirmed by the government. Okay, yeah, we already know what's going on, but until the government confirms it, we're never gonna really know that it's actually real. But it's just like I told you in my last video. You don't need the government to tell you what you already know is real. You just have to know. You just have to believe. Don't doubt it. Say, well, don't say well, don't say, but you don't want to hear no buts. The fact, just like I told you about your eyes will never lie to you. If you saw something that goes beyond human consumption, like say if you saw a ghost, like how I've been telling you. People who don't understand ghosts and get freaked out or never believed in ghosts in the first place, once they actually get a chance to see it, they be like, oh, I was hallucinating. I forgot I had some chili the other night and it's messing with my stomach. And now it's messing with my brain. That's just an excuse. If you saw it, you saw it. I would tell anybody, any day, any week, any year that I saw a ghost. I tell them exactly what I saw, where I saw it, the time, the place, whatever. Sorry about that. But still, my whole point is, I'm not trying to ramble, but I just want to make sure that all the information I give you is theoretically sound, yet easy for you to understand. Not saying that you wouldn't understand if it wasn't, but you know what I'm getting at. But anyway, the whole point is, I just want people to understand where I'm coming from. I want people to understand what's really going on. I want people to open up their minds and think in a three-dimensional way. Even if you got to think in 4 dimensions, do that. Just don't think in one direction. Your brain power and your thoughts and your whatever got to go in all directions so you can pick up information from everywhere. Your head got to be a satellite, you know, in order for you to receive the information that I'm telling you or that you want to know as far as what's going on out there. You got to use your brain as a satellite. Pull in all this other information if you can. Get as much information, and I guarantee you, whatever you find out about over here, and here, and here, and here, all that stuff is going to come together as one big pile of evidence for one topic. Why are these people disappearing? You may see, or you may find out about aliens. You may find out about what the government is really doing behind our backs as far as what they don't want us to know about. Like, you're humans. You're Americans. But you doing all this stuff behind our back. You're supposed to be one of us. Yet, you're acting like they're more important than we are. Now, I'm not trying to down the government. I work for the government, so, you know, I'm just saying. But everybody has a right to their own opinion, right? Freedom of speech. But, you know, let's get away from that. I don't want to be talking about the government. That's, you know, I ain't trying to get shut down or worse. But the whole point is, just open up your mind, folks. Open up your mind, and a world of information that you've never been able to even fathom is going to come to you. That's why I'm here. If I have the information, I'm going to tell you. That's my job. I tell you what's going on, and you listen. You be like, wow, really? I'm glad you told us that. I'm not going to put it up here if I don't know what's really going on. I got to do my homework, which is what I do. And I go by certain things that I've learned about years ago, something, you know, that I learned in the past, or information that I got myself. Just like when I told you about that guy that was on Coast to Coast AM the other night. You know, I felt a need to share it with you, my friends, my YouTube family, because of what he was talking about. And I chose a couple of topics that he was talking about because it was within correlation of these disappearances. Okay? But that's what I'm here for, guys. I'm here for you. I want you to become a satellite. I want your brain to become a satellite so you can take in all the information that I know about. And I'm not saying that you don't already know. I'm not saying that, because I know there are some of you out there that do know more than I do. That's why I said if I say something wrong, correct me or feed me the information so I can get it right. Okay? But like I said, you got to become a satellite. Your brain is a satellite. You know, it don't have antennas sticking out, but it's still a satellite because it receives information. You either have to read it, see it, smell it, or hear it. That is your textbook. That's how you get your information, with the senses of your entire body. You got to hear it, see it, taste it, smell it, hear it. You got to do all that. You got to feel it. That's how you receive your information. So if you open up a book, you're reading it. You're listening to a broadcast on Coast to Coast AM or someone that's talking about whatever on TV. You gotta hear it. Now, as far as this part right here, the tasting part, it's not so much about tasting. It's about word of mouth. Okay, you hear it and then you say it. Okay. But anyway, what I wanted to do tonight, I wanted to talk about a very special case. I wanted to talk about Dennis Martin. And, that's a very old yet very hypnotic famous case. So I'm going to just get right to it. Okie dokie. Now, Lost in the Smokies. Mystery surrounds disappearances over the past 40 years. Ugh. Okay, and this, like I said, is about young Dennis Martin, who disappeared in the Smoky Mountains on June 14th, 1969. And let me see if I wanted to see if I can get some information on how old he was, because they didn't mention that. I don't think that. I mean, I guess he looks like he could be about maybe, I'd say 4, maybe. It's a possibility. I never did really get what his age was, so he was probably somewhere between 3 and 6, because he looks pretty small and looks pretty young. So I think that would be, the correct assumption. I'm gonna see if I can still pull up the age just so I'll be able to give you guys the right information. There we go. Martin, 6. He was 6 years old. Okay, I got that part now. All right, he was Dennis Martin was 6 years old, and he disappeared in the Smoky Mountains on June 14th, 1969. And the 14th is coming up within a week or so, and that will be the anniversary of his disappearance. Whew, I normally would probably do a video around that time. I'll probably do a video like this on its anniversary, and I think I just might do that. I'm not gonna post it yet. I'll just talk about it, and then I'll post it on the actual anniversary of his death, his disappearance, since it is the anniversary is coming up. But anyway, let's get to the story. All right, it was a simple plan that Dennis Martin, his brother, and 2 other boys hatched, while five adults watched and talked from a grassy area at Spence Field. The boys decided to see if they could sneak up on the old folks and maybe give them a start, meaning a scare. Well, of course I know you know that, but anyway. Okay, now 3 of the boys went one direction. Dennis, 6 days short of his 7th birthday, went another. And see, there's that separation from the group part. He didn't know any better. He was only 6 years old, and he didn't know anything about these people that may disappear. I'm pretty sure his father heard about it, but just never talked about it. But he splits off from the group of these other boys, which one of them of course, was his brother, I would imagine. And he goes his own way, because they were playing hide. They were doing that, wanting to scare the parents, but they were also playing hide and seek, according to what David Pilates said in the interview on Coast to Coast. And I'm not sure if I read the story yet as far as what was in the book about him. I'm trying to think, was it in the first book that I ordered, The Western U.S.? I'm not sure, but I'll check into that. If I haven't talked about it yet, then it's probably in one of those other books, so I'm glad I'm being able to talk about it now. Okay, let's see. A few minutes later, the 3, which included Dennis's older brother Douglas, jumped on the adults. Dennis was nowhere to be seen. See, here's the part where he disappears, because they were saying, he was saying before they were playing hide and seek, but it turns out they was doing a little scare thing, a little scare game with the parents. So I think from what David Pilates said, they were playing hide and seek and he was hiding behind a bush. And I guess he was doing that in order for him to sneak up on his parents, or his father and his grandfather. So yeah, he was hiding behind the bush. But while the kids were doing that, Dennis Martin, his father, was actually watching him the entire time while they was playing these games, so they didn't know what he didn't know what they was actually doing as far as what kind of game they were playing. But he did watch his son. They were polite, did say that he was very resourceful in that area. He watched his son like a hawk because he was little, and he said that he had like a learning disability. He was kind of slow, so I would imagine he would want to keep his eyes on him at all times to make sure he was all right. But that's his son. That's what he's supposed to do anyway. So, in a nutshell, he was hiding behind a tree. And they came out to jump on the fence on the grown-ups. He never did, but he watched them the entire time. So he ran over to where he was. He didn't see him behind the bush. So he starts down this trail, the Appalachian Trail in the Smoky Mountains, yelling out his son's name for at least about a mile. Couldn't find him. He told his grandfather, "Go find the rangers. Go find the rangers. I can't find my son." So this massive search goes out. So I'll get to that part when I read it. Okay, let's see. What became of Dennis is one of the most enduring mysteries of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to give the information to the family, and then you want to make them look like they're too stupid to figure something out that you're trying to say is a fact. That, my people, is not good. I don't like that. So why they would do that, knowing he's looking for his son, I'll never know. I don't think we ever will know, because I think one of the FBI agents that was handling the case, he committed suicide once the information about this thing that had something on its shoulder walking behind or ducking behind a bunch of trees. And of course he was Harry. Wow. So he took the information and the truth with him, even though the people that he worked for got the truth as well. But I know they ain't gonna say nothing. But anyway, okay. So the search that ensued after his Saturday afternoon disappearance would last mid-September of 1969 and involved thousands of searchers. Everybody from old hands who grew up on the land that would become the Park of National Guard units and Green Berets from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, spent weeks combining that part of the mountains. The search would include everything from bloodhounds to helicopters, cost $65,000 and not turn up a trace of the boy. Oh, that hurts. Wow, I don't know how I would react if something like that was to happen and they didn't find anything, even after all the searching that they did for the amount of time that they spent doing it. Whew, that would tear me up for real. Okay, Martin is one of the three people. Trini Lynn Gibson and Thelma Pauline Melton are the others who went into the park, and as far as anyone knows, and never came out. But okay. Oh, those are the other kids the other people that went into the park and never came out. I'm like, wait a minute, these are the people that was searching for him, but they never came out. I never heard about that. So, but anyway, I'm glad I got that part cleared up because I didn't even know. I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait a minute, I had to read it again. But anyway, now Gibson disappeared on October 8th, 1976, while on the field trip with Bearden High School. A 16-year-old and her classmates were hiking near Andrews Bald and Klingsman Dome. Oof, that sounds terrifying. Okay, no one on the trip remembered seeing her after 3 p.m. that afternoon. See, there's that part again about someone not being seen yet. They were around everybody the whole time. Okay, 58-year-old Melton of Jacksonville, Florida, was hiking near Deep Creek Campground on September 25th, 1981, with two friends when she went missing. Melton was familiar with the trail, having hiked it many times before, and was out ahead of her friends when she disappeared. And see, there you go again, getting away from your group to go do something by yourself. Bad idea, folks. I told you cannot do that. You stay with your group. I mean, I'm talking about if you gotta be huddled next to each other. I'm talking about back on shoulder, shoulder on back, head on neck. I don't care. If you make yourself look like a freaking teepee to be that close, or whatever. But anyway, the whole point is you need to stay with your group. and do not let anything separate you. But if you got that kind of mind where you like to just go out and do you or do the do, what you know what I mean. Something like that. You want to stay with a group at all times. Okay. All three cases involved massive searches that not only failed to turn up the missing persons, they also failed to turn up any suggestion of what may have happened to them. Well, I'll get to that part in a second. Okay, after I finish reading this. But the search for Dennis Martin was the most intense and lasted the longest. At the time of the disappearance, his father, Bill, then a Knoxville architect, described Dennis as a husky, healthy boy who was not particularly afraid of anything. He had some experience camping and hiking in the mountains with his family, and despite heavy rain, the night he disappeared, and during the following week, family and searchers hoped he would be found alive. On June 20, the road of Cage Cove had closed as more than 400 volunteers took to the mountains. If he was found alive, a helicopter was standing by to fly him to Marine Corps base on Alcoa Highway, and from there the ambulance would take him to the University of Tennessee Hospital. That's a weird sounding hospital. I never heard of a hospital being named after a university, or making it sound like the hospital is the university. Could be a possibility. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. But anyway, okay. The search and hoped for rescue was getting national attention. Wow, I never heard about it. This was in '69, of course, so I wasn't even born then. Duh. I thought I still would have. I thought I still would have heard about it, in the coming years. Not, like when I did find out about it. But anyway, I'm rambling here. Sorry about that. Okay. Some boy-sized footprints were found in divergent sections of the search area, but park officials and those involved with the search said the chances of the footprints being Dennis Martin were remote. 6 weeks after the boy vanished, a man told park officials he had heard a scream in the Sea Branch area of the park the evening of June 14th. Officials said Sea Branch was too far from Spence Field for it to have been the missing boy. In October, a pair of boys' underwear were found near one of the shelters at Spence Field. Searchers had been led there by another clairvoyant. By Dennis Martin's mother, said they didn't belong to her son. Another dead end. But anyway, folks, the gist of the whole story is that, like I said, he disappeared behind that bush. Another family came along called the Key family, and they was asking one of the rangers where could they go to find some bear or any kind of wildlife. And he told them about Cage Cove, which is the place I just talked about. And it's a nice little beautiful area, trees everywhere, the big like stream or whatever, or river or whatever. All that stuff you can see in that area. Now, as they got there, they saw something running behind the trees along that hill with something on its shoulder, and it was upright on its hind legs and hairy. What do you think that could have been? Now, I'm thinking if it wasn't a wild man or Bigfoot, it might have been a werewolf. Okay? Because all the little boy from the Key family said was that, look, Dad, there's something running behind the trees on the hill. He said he thought it was a bear, but bears don't run on their hind legs. They just stand up and scare you with their paws, going like this, like that. But anyway, so it could have been a werewolf, because I would imagine if it was something that beastly, it would be able to actually devour a human body and not leave anything behind, because they couldn't find his clothes, they couldn't find anything. So what, either he slipped into another dimension, or the thing carrying him on its shoulder threw him in another dimension, or whatever it is something explainable only to the ones who will believe anything other than what I just said, and that's the talk about, the wild man that, lived, in the woods, and all that stuff, or it being whatever else I said. But this right here would be what I was talking about. Give me 1 second. I want you to be able to see it. All right. This is what I would be talking about right here. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was something that was standing on its hind legs and running behind the trees. He didn't mention the nature of the legs or how they looked. They may have looked like that because he said it was hairy. But by being so far up on that hill, he probably could only see the hair and something being carried on his shoulder. So I would think if it's not a Bigfoot, not knowing that they actually eat human flesh, not knowing, even though I'm saying that the other part, that creature that I was talking about, either Bigfoot or whoever, is not any of them. So I would imagine this would be the only logical answer to what that thing is. So that's what I'm thinking. It wasn't what everybody says. It wasn't a wild man that's living off the grid. It wasn't Bigfoot. It was probably that. That seemed a little bit more believable, as far as a body being just vanishes. I mean, it could have ate Dennis Martin and just probably ate everything, including the clothes, so there wouldn't be any evidence left behind. Or if the government knows about all this stuff and they got these people that had to work right along with them, they probably clean up everything to make sure. I mean, look at what they did at the Roswell crash. They wiped that entire field clean. There was nothing left. Okay? Nothing. So I'm like, wow. You put that kind of idea together, and then you place it with something like this. I'm just saying. So in light of that, I really do think that hopefully we can get the truth. I really do. Because the truth will open up a lot of doors to all of the stuff that we look at as folklore, fairy tales, you name it. If it's something that we look at as fantasy or sci-fi, we gotta think like that. We gotta realize that it is real. So, but all I can say is we can only do what we can at the time that we have, because at this time, I don't think there's gonna be, a disclosure, or there's nobody gonna get up on that podium talking on the news saying that we have known about aliens for years. We worked right along with them, and I know some people are concerned about the abductions, but we signed a treaty and they went back. They backed away from the treaty and did their own thing. So I truly apologize for that. It was our fault. We actually signed a treaty with them, not knowing that they were going to do this. We thought they were good. So I'm sorry. So you apologize about that, but you don't apologize for all the lies and the secrets that you kept from us all these years, all these decades, because they didn't want to just give them, military alien technology. They wanted to give them technology that helps save the Earth. And I'm talking about something that is way off base. I'm sorry about that, but when I get into what I like to talk about, I just kind of ramble. I don't want to ramble. I don't want to be up here letting you guys listen to me ramble on about stuff. But if I'm telling you something while I'm rambling, something that you need to hear, you just might listen. Am I right? I bet you I am. Yeah, that's right. I know. Yeah, you know I'm right. especially you, Kim Star 66. You know I'm right too. So I don't want to ramble anymore. I don't want to keep you guys listening to me just going off, but I'm talking about stuff that need to be talked about. So I feel like I did a good thing. But anyway, I want to end this. I probably got another one coming later on tonight or tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow. So I will definitely see you guys again. I promise you it's going to be just as good as it was tonight or better. I would hope it be better, but I got to see. It may just be right here and not here. It could be here, maybe here. I don't know. Hey, what do you think? Could it be here or here? You decide. That's what I got you guys for. That's why you guys are my buddies, my family, YouTube. I love you. I love all my YouTube family, man. I love all of y'all. You know, ouch. You know, I mean, you guys are getting me to my goal as far as how many subscribers I need, and I want to keep that going too. Once I reach that ultimate goal, you know, I don't want to stop. You know, so that's what I got you guys for. You guys got to help me out. You got to tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your uncle and your sister, all the people that you know that this guy right here is talking about some weird stuff, but he is on it. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. You know, I'm not people like Richard Dolan or whoever else, you know, but I do pay attention. I really do. That's why I'm here. So, you know, everything I say is, I won't say maybe 100%, but it's close. You know, it's whatever. But anyway, let me stop rambling. I gotta go. I will see you guys very soon. So keep your eyes locked and keep your ears tuned in to my notifications. You know what to do. Hit me with them thumbs up and subscribe below. Anything that I need to put in the description box, I will do that. And check out the video I did prior to this one. I got the links to that M Cave follow up where you can hear what's his name? I can't think of his name right now, but anyway, you can hear him calling out to somebody or anybody saying somebody help. So it's very creepy, but watch it. You know, cause you got to get to the 10:08 mark, or just do 10:07 or something like that, so you can just ride right into it. And you got to listen very carefully. You'll hear him. You'll hear it, and it's spooky. So yeah, do that. I got that link, and I got a link of the guy I was talking about earlier. His name is Derek Tyler. I got the link to that broadcast. It's not the one from Coast to Coast, because the person the person whose channel I went to, they took it down. That's the second time it got taken down. So I don't know why they keep doing it. I mean, he's talking about some crazy stuff, but there's other interviews that he's done. As long as you type in his name on YouTube, it'll pop up. It'll have these little those thumbnails where you see all this, you know, colors and words and all that stuff, and you'll know that he's being interviewed by a radio show, and that way you can listen to it. You know, I think you'll like it. But anyway, I gotta go, guys. I will see you once again real soon. So like I said, keep your eyes locked and keep your ears tuned into my notifications, and I will return. Aloha, mahalo, and ahuiho. Peace out, guys. Love you very much, and thank you.